Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us live. I'm Helen Williams. I'm Head of Marketing at Instander, and I'm really excited to welcome you to Plugged In. It's our brand new LinkedIn Live series. So, what's Plugged In all about? Well, this is where we take you behind the scenes with the partners who are powering real results for insurers. Think of it as your front row seat to the conversations shaping the future of insurance and insurtech. Each episode will be shining a spotlight on a different partner, unpacking who they are, what they do, and how together we're helping insurers reimagine what's possible. We'll also be looking ahead, exploring the trends you need to know, the opportunities to really grab hold of, and the practical steps you can take to bring these innovations into your own business. And for our very first session, I couldn't think of a better guest to kick things off. I'm thrilled to be joined by Jimmy Padia, founder and CEO of Floatbot.AI. Welcome, Jimmy. It's great to have you on board as our first ever guest.
Thank you, Helen, for having me here. Excited to kickstart Plugged In series with you.
Me too. Well, in today's conversation, we'll be covering quite a lot. So we'll be talking to you about the Floatbot.AI story, just a small topic of the role of AI in the future of insurance, also the industry problems we solve by bringing our platforms together, and also how you can practically incorporate AI into your strategy today. So I'm really looking forward to this. So let's get plugged in. So Jimmy, going to kick off. I would love to hear more about the Floatbot.AI story and also what's really driving you personally to be in this space.
Yeah, absolutely. So a brief about Floatbot.AI. We started our journey in 2020. I'm back from India. Uh, it it started as a platform to build conversational AI agents. There's our omni-channel on voice, chat. That was before LLM era, right? So I would say we were a little bit early, in starting the AI journey. So the first client that we worked with in insurance was a life carrier, and in India, one of the biggest life carrier. The problem that they gave us was on digital sales. They told us that digital sales, if I recall correctly, is 0.5%, and the rest, entire sales, is still offline. And they shared the numbers, revenues, and kind of that made me fall in love with the industry, right? I mean, and then we worked on, at that point, a chatbot to enable the users to purchase policy online, right? Empower them, help them along the journey, solve their questions, whatever they have while they're purchasing the policy. Uh, and that added tremendous value, right? I mean, we could see how the digital sales increased from 0.5 to, I would say close to 2%, right? And every increment of 1% was a huge revenue gain for the carrier. So that's where we started with. In 21, I remember I attended ITC. At that time, in US, there were travel bans. I had to take like a special approval to travel to US, and in 22 we moved our headquarters to US. I relocated to US, and we started our a journey to expand our footprint in the US insurance market. So that's our journey. When we started, I would say in 22, again, the industry was by and large closed to AI, right? To be very honest, it was super early. I mean, the carriers here were, were talking about having a digital form. I mean, that also something was mostly not available on their website. It was very manual driven, everything through email, documents, right? So the code to sales was something that they were still beginning on the digital side. Conversationally, I was still further away. And so we interacted with a lot of partners, potential customers, and we found our sweet spot at that time in claims intake, right? So in 23, then we started working with few of the carriers that get affected because of catastrophe, where claims was a big challenge, claims intake. So that's where we started. We went through several accelerators. We partnered with a lot of ISVs, Instanda being one of them, and so I would say 23 was more of us getting the foot in the country. 24 is when uh, carriers, I would say, started opening up to talk about AI, right, and understand the value about it, value it can bring to them. And end of 2024 is when I would say really the whole scale up started, where we started working with several of carriers, MGAs, and so that's the Floatbot AI journey. What personally drives me is the impact that that we can have on people's life. Hearing some of the use cases that we have worked on, for example, in catastrophe, right? We went live with a carrier in Texas during cat season last year. Hurricane Beryl. Our AI was able to help policyholders, agents seamlessly file claims, right, and kind of accelerate that claims processing time. So that's the impact that we have, and the fact that we're not just building tech for the sake of it, but creating solutions that help carriers and agents scale, support, cut costs, and still deliver that human experience, right? So for me, it's all about innovating where technology meets real business problems and making AI, so-called AI, whatever we call, and this transformation accessible to the large audience.
I mean, like you say, impact and that drive for a solution, they're such powerful drivers, aren't they? And it really does come through clearly in the journey that you've just shared. So my next question, I mean, AI is the hot topic. It's everywhere right now. But from your vantage point, what's hype and what's genuinely game changing?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, when LLM were introduced, or end of 22, I still remember it was in the November or December, where ChatGPT, 3.0 was first launched, and everybody, started working on that, exploring it. And 2023 was like people getting used to LLM,
Mhm,
and 24 I would say mid to end of 24 is we've started hearing about the whole agents, AI agents. And when I say agents, I don't mean the insurance sales agents, I mean the AI
mhm,
agents. So yeah, we kind of were a little early to talk about AI agents in mid 23. I still think that what's hype is a lot of big tech talking about AGI, which
mhm,
probably is like one AI that can do everything, like a magic sword, which is artificial, general intelligence, where it can replace a human, it can act or talk or think like a human, right, in a sentient way. So a lot of promises on AGI is, I would say, hype. Um, and in talking about specifically insurance, right? I mean, where we hear that uh, AI would completely replace all the humans. That could be underwriters, adjusters, sales agents, right? And AI would drive end-to-end business. So that's probably, I would say, is an hype. There are still, I mean, insurance is a heavily regulated industry. It's a relationship-oriented industry, right? People like to work with people. And so I would say those a lot of such promises on those sites are still a lot hype, right? But on the other side, there are a lot of game-changing value prop as well. And I would say some of this is anything around policyholder agent experience.
mhm,
So this could be conversations around quote to sales, or this is customer support, customer service, claims intake, right? So anything that touches calls, chat, emails, think of it internally between agent and underwriter or externally with policyholder. Those use cases are genuinely game changing right now, right? So
amazing. Yeah.
I mean, we are working on a lot of those use cases. I would say second is a lot of internal workflows, right? I mean, an email comes in with a bunch of documents, where extracting data from these documents or summarizing the document, ability for an underwriter to or an adjuster to to have a conversation with this document, ask questions about what's going on, what is this claim about, such kind of use cases. So a lot of, I would say, workflow automation internally, where it can do series of tasks, right? Series of steps that are AI powered. A lot of co-pilot or that can add value to adjusters and underwriters. So kind of an AI assistant. Think of it like just like we drive Tesla in a, it can drive the car autonomously, but most of us still monitor while the car is being driving, right? So so something of that sort, where AI agents or AI workflows are automating a lot of tasks, but still acting as a human in loop, right?
Yeah.
So adjusters and writers are aware of what AI is doing. At certain point in the workflow, they can review it, they can approve or reject it, right? So a classic example is in code creation. So we are working in several scenarios where our RFP comes in for a benefit code, right?
Mhm.
And AI can summarize that code, can go to multiple carriers, can generate a proposal, right, with several data points, and bring it in front of the producer, and the producer can review that code. If everything looks good, it could just hit the button and send that code. If it's not good, then it can edit, the producers can edit that. So I would say a lot of such use cases on workflow automation with human in loop are genuinely game changing. They are making humans, superhumans. So, probably one producer can do job of maybe 5 or 7 producers, right? So, yeah, those are our take.
That's great. And look, I do appreciate how you've separated sort of the shiny headlines there from the really practical, impactful use cases. And I know those watching will really appreciate that as well. Another question, right? There are a lot of misconceptions around AI in insurance, and some may see it as overhyped. Others may fear it's a bit too complex or too risky. I mean, what's the biggest myth you'd like to dispel? And what's a smart first step insurers can take to really cut through the noise?
Yeah, so most of the insurance carriers, right? If you see last, I would say 3 to 5 years, or even till now, they are replacing their legacy systems with something like Instanta, right, which is more modern, right? So I would say they're going through this transformation. It's a painful process. It requires a lot of manpower from their side, from SI system integrators, vendors, right? It's probably a multi-year or at least multi-quarter uh, projects. So what insurance carriers think that if they were to adopt AI, probably they have to spend similar amount of time, money, uh, in such overhaul as well. They think it is a massive, risky overhaul, right? I mean, so I would say that's a misconception. It's not as complex as they think, right? So it's not like boiling the ocean while they're adopting AI. What we have been working with our carriers is identifying those smaller steps, right, or smaller processes, and work phase wise. So make it like a multi-phase implementation, right? So let's start with if we're giving an example of quote to sales, right? So we're working with a carrier where the problem is that, or with a large broker, where the problem is that currently the agents on the call, they're spending 11 minutes in taking the data in, right? What's your name? What's your license number? It's for auto. So can AI automate, part of it or completely the data intake process, and after that, still transfer the call to a human agent to really negotiate the rate and then close that policy, right? So I would say that so this is phase one. So make AI small enough that it can be launched, I would say, in 6 to 8 weeks, and make it iterative. So you're going live with phase one, you're seeing value, you're starting seeing ROI on what you're spending, and then identify what could be phase two and phase three and phase four. So make it like a multi-phase implementation where where the effort is relatively less and the risk is less, the investment is less. They start seeing the value quickly, which probably motivates the team to then further investing.
Fantastic. I mean, that's great advice, and try and make it small enough and focus on the practical first wins. I think across any industry, I think that's great advice. So my next question, it's the crystal ball question. So if we were sitting here this time next year, what do you think will have actually changed in insurance because of AI?
Yeah, so I think AI right now is about to explode in the insurance space. Last year, same time, for example, we were talking to carriers and we would hear from the CX suite that, we would never have AI talk to our customers, right? I mean, for example, in claims or in court, right? In claims, that's the moment of truth, right? And we want a human to talk to our customers, the policyholders, right? Fast forward now, those same carriers have started evaluating AI, right, and started taking baby steps on the proof of concept pilots, etc. So, like a year from now, I definitely see that all the insurance carriers would have some or other form of AI in either externally talking to policyholders or internally to increase productivity of the team, right? Either in of production mode, right, where it has started taking automating few of those workflows, or I would say in a pilot POC mode, depending on the risk appetite. So that's where I see that in some form of or other, I think all carriers would have adopted AI. Large majority of them would, if not, then would be in proof of concept or pilot mode with
Amazing.
AI. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a shift within just the year, isn't it? From what you were saying.
Yes, and
Yeah.
yes, and we have started seeing those shifts in terms of the largest of the carriers kind of
Mm,
dabbling with the idea of
yeah.
having pilots, proof of concepts underway this year. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we should set a date for this time next year, and we'll we'll have that
Yeah.
conversation. So my next question is Instander and Floatbot.AI. I mean, we're working together to help insurers really push boundaries. Now, from what you've seen, how are clients really benefiting from both of our platforms coming together?
Yeah, I think there is a strong DNA match. I mean, from what we hear from our common customers, our customers, they love iterating with Instanda platform as well. So what we mentioned on AI, I mean, we have a common customer um, that's very agile. They launch a new product, insurance product, probably in a couple of months,
Mhm.
and they told that it's extremely easy for them to configure in Instanda, right? So yeah, I mean, having this iterative approach in both launching a new product with Instanda and having AI to some extent, automate the workflows around the quote to sales journey, customer support, claims intake is a great match, is a great fit, I would say. Helping show that value to that MGA or to that carrier, right, where they can just iterate with multiple products, go to market faster. A team at Instanda is very equally agile as well, So I would say those are some of the benefits that we have seen. Mostly agility, I would say, and speed to market is those are two things that uh, I see that both of us are adding value in Instanda plus Floatbot to our set of customers.
Yeah, that's, I think what's been really exciting is seeing how much more value clients unlock when Instanda or both of our platforms come together. And it's absolutely about efficiency and agility, but it's also opening up those new possibilities for how insurers engage and operate. And honestly, I think our clients are blown away by the capability that they're experiencing with you. It's absolutely incredible.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's great. So we'll come to our final question. So before we wrap up, I'm going to be asking this question to all of our future guests, but how do you personally stay plugged in? I mean, it could be new ideas, industry trends. or even just keeping, energy up day to day? I mean, do you have a secret?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, I mean, a lot of people like to read a lot, right? Online blogs. I mean, I do that, but personally, I like to interact with our customers, with partners, right? So all the events, right, from morning to late night, as much as I can, I like to interact with as many people as I can to really understand, what's going on the ground, understand the perspective of customers, of partners like yours, what they see as trends, what are some of the problems they are facing. So that kind of hydrates me, gives me food to think about, where the industry is heading to, kind of join the puzzle, so that's on the industry side. On the tech side, right? On the AI side, it's equally important for me, for us to keep up the momentum as well. Things are moving really fast with AI. So I would say two things. Living in Silicon Valley, where I am in the Bay Area, helps. I'm surrounded by, I would say, uh, Google, deep tech, OpenAI, all the engineers with that. So yeah, I've got a lot of friends going on, evening events, evening dinner parties, kind of. It's definitely helpful in understanding what the big tech thinks about AI, where it's headed towards. And I would say we also have set up a small research team, whose job is just to experiment, right, on what more can we do with AI, with the set of use cases that we have, and kind of think ahead a year from now. And so that's the reason probably in 23 we were one of the first ones to talk about AI agents, right? We launched it at NYSE. So that's a banner that I have in the background. We talked about claims transformation with an AI agent. We called it Agent M, and then probably that was a year ahead of when everybody started talking about the whole AI agentic space, right? So yeah, so that's probably, I would say, few of my secret sauce.
It's a great reminder. Get out there and spend some time with your networks and make the most of those opportunities. Fantastic. Well, Jimmy, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your insights. It's been a real pleasure, and I know our audience will take a lot away from this conversation. I hope to see you back with us again soon. And yeah, thank you for everybody for joining today. Thanks for your
Thank
time.
you for hosting me. Thank you, Helen.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jimmy.